Hey guys, Triple B here. We've just concluded the top 8 invitational tournament for season 1 of the budget build battle format. If you're unfamiliar with the format, it's effectively just a single prized format for the standard. So no rule boxes, meaning EXs, Vs, Radiants, and A specs, and none of that nonsense. We're focusing just on these single prize Pokemon to kind of give them a space to shine in. It means decks that seem like they have potential but might not be strong enough to go toe-to-toe with something like Regidrago V-Star or Charizard EX do kind of have a space where they can shine. But tonight we're going to be just quickly looking over the top 8 decks of everyone that did participate in the tournament. Apologies if I'm stumbling over my words a bit. It's about 1:30 in the morning and yeah, we've been streaming since 8, so yeah, bear with me. And we're recording this live on Twitch. But yeah, for the season, it goes for 3 months. Season 2 will be starting tomorrow, which after I posted this video, a new season might have already kicked off. So yeah, hopefully see you guys there. And tournaments are held every Friday night in Australian Central Time. So if you're interested, there will be a link in the description of this video. Enough of that though, I feel like I'm kind of just rambling at this point. So for the top 8, we had Zen, Sneaky Old Crab, Manuel, JamJar, Triple, Lee, Dudsta, and Jab that participated in the event. There was unfortunately one person that wasn't able to make it for the top 8, so we kind of like raffled it off. And yeah, Lee was able to fill in for that space. So welcome to the community, Lee. I hope you enjoyed the format and keen to see you in future tournaments. In 8th place, though, we were seeing Jab piloting a Tor Tera list. So Tor Tera has the attack Evo Press. For every evolution Pokemon in play, you're going to do 50 damage as a multiplier for just a grass and a colorless energy. It's one of those decks that's seen a lot of play in this format. It's a powerhouse. He's got a lot of HP at 190 and can set up very consistently thanks to the Grotle pre-evolution. So Sun-Drenched Shell lets you search your deck for a grass Pokemon once per turn. Just put it into your hand. So it can get you into your Tor Teras, or effectively you can go evolve a Turtwig into a Grotle, get another Grotle, use that to get another piece, and yeah, just get your board established very fast. You have Beautifly in here. Being a grass type means you can search it out with Grotle and lets you draw until you have 6 cards in your hand once per turn. Cricketune in here just to boost up your grass type Pokemon's HP by an extra 40. Toadscruel's in here, making it so your opponent can't get any cards from the discard pile back into their hand off of abilities or trainer cards, which is yeah, nice little bit of disruption, and even including Rabsca for some bench protection and protection from effects. So things like damage counters and the like, they can't be done to your bench while Rabsca's in play. It's also really helpful to block a devolution TM. Solid list, and Jab, congrats on making it into the top 8 of the season. I know you're very keen on Tor Tera bringing it, I think every week that you showed up for the tournament, so keen to see that you kept kind of rolling with it into the finals. In 7th place, we saw Dudsta, who brought the monkey business. So you got Simi Seer, Simi Sage, and Simi Pour. All of them have the ability Monkey Trio. If you have Simi Sage, Simi Seer, and Simi Pour in play, you ignore all of the colorless energy in the attack cost for all these monkeys. They've got a variety of attacks though. So Simi Pour does 50 damage to the active and then 30 damage to each of your opponent's bench Pokemon, giving you a little bit of spread damage, which is always helpful. Get some cheeky multi-prize turns if you're repeatedly using this attack. You've got Simi Sage, who does base damage of 100 and makes it so during your opponent's next turn, you prevent all damage done to this Pokemon by attacks of Pokemon that have an ability. It is only done to this Pokemon though, so your opponent can obviously gust around you using things like Boss's Orders or Counter Catcher to kind of get past the Simi Sage's effect, but if you can get us to stick, that can be very disruptive into your opponents, especially if they're dependent on things that use abilities to attack. And there's also Simi Seer, who has the attack Heat Tackle, doing 190 damage, does do 30 damage to itself, but 190, you're going to be knocking out most things in the format with just one hit. For a draw engine, he did opt for Bibarel, having Industrious Incisors, letting you draw until you have 5 cards in your hand once per turn. Great card and sees a lot of play in a number of decks. For the trainer cards though, it's pretty standard stuff. You got a mix of the energies, so grass, fire, water, just to be able to pay for the, well, those types in the attack costs of the Simi Sage, Simi Seer, and Simi Pour. For the rest of the trainers though, seeing things like Irida, letting you get into your Simi Pours and an item card, Arazu, just finding you 3 evolution Pokemon, so gets you all your monkeys or a Bibarel. Yeah. Solid choices there, Dudsta, and yeah, also congrats on making it through to the top 8 of the season. We're seeing Lee, who piloted an Annihilate deck. It has the attack Rage Fist. It does a multiplier of 70 for every prize card that your opponent's taken. So sort of like a single prize version of Charizard EX, but doing a higher number. Well, scaling up by a higher number. It doesn't start with any base damage like Charizard does and doesn't accelerate energy out like Charizard does. So it's kind of got balanced in that way. For your secondary attackers, they did have Palossand with the attack Sand Pot Trap, does 30 damage to each of your opponent's Pokemon, so another spread attacker only needing 1 fighting energy to use it. And Ursaluna, so it has the ability Battle Hardened. When you play this card from your hand onto your bench, you can attach up to 2 basic fighting energy cards from your hand onto this Pokemon. The attack Mad Bite, needing 2 fighting and a colorless energy, means the ability and your attachment for turn, you can start swinging, doing a base of 100 damage, then 30 more damage for each damage counter on your opponent's active Pokemon. So Palossand doing some spread damage is going to set up numbers for Ursaluna to just hit for, well, massive knockouts. Rest of the deck though, it's pretty standard supporters: Iono, Cynthia for your draw engine, as well as Professor's Research and Morty's Conviction. You've got Arvin in here letting you search your deck for an item and a Pokemon tool card, Jock to get you your evolutions, and Boss's Orders to, well, just be a solid gust card. The rest of the things in here I feel like kind of go without saying though. If you have any questions, let me know in the comments down below. In 5th place, that's me. Yeah. Could have done better, could have done worse. Happy with how it turned out. We ran Walrein, or as I like to call it, the Spheal of Approval deck. Having Spheal in here, of course. It's got the attack Powder Snow, does 10 damage, puts your opponent's Pokemon to sleep. That's not why we're running it though. It's to evolve up into Walrein, who has Frigid Fangs. So it does 60 base damage, and during your opponent's next turn, Pokemon that have 2 or less energy attached can't attack. It doesn't do it just to the Pokemon that you're damaging, it does it effectively to that player. So that means Pokemon that come into play it during that turn, even if they switch out or evolve up, it doesn't matter. They need effectively 3 energy if they want to declare an attack. So it's kind of just forcing opponents to have energy acceleration to get through this, or make it so that I can't use Frigid Fangs turn after turn, like try and gust, stall, get a turn in there, or just piling up multiple energy onto Pokemon that don't even need it. Like they might have a 1 energy attack, but they're going to need 3 energy if they want to be able to use it. So yeah, Walrein's pretty disruptive, does some pretty good numbers, and is pretty bulky. So yeah, solid card. Really enjoyed playing it. For some disruption cards in here though, we did have Giovanni's Charisma. Lets you move an energy from your opponent's active Pokemon into their hand and get an energy from your hand and put it onto one of your Pokemon, making it so Walrein's effect is kind of sticking, right? Like if they're trying to manually charge up to get to 3, I'm just saying, nope, put it back into your hand. You've also got Crushing Hammer, flip a coin, discard an energy off one of your opponent's Pokemon to help with Walrein's effect to stick, as well as Enhanced Hammer, just discarding a special energy. No strings attached. So there's special energy, I just bin it. So yeah, great card. Also seeing things like Leftovers to make it so Walrein can kind of tank hits and heal off some damage, and Luxury Cape to give him a little bit more HP, putting Walrein up to 270, and Lake Acuity, so if I have a water energy attached, I'm taking 20 less damage from attack. So yeah, Walrein's he's a pretty disruptive big bulky boy. I like him. In 4th place, we are seeing JamJar, who brought Tinkaton. So it's got the ability Gather Materials. You can discard a card from your hand, and if you do, draw 3. It's not the only draw Pokemon you're going to be seeing in here though, as you have Kirlia, who can discard a card and draw 2, and Xatu, who can attach a basic Psychic Energy from your hand to one of your bench Pokemon, then draw 2. So yeah, a lot of draw power in there, as well as energy acceleration, which is great. Tinkaton though isn't just about drawing cards, it also has the attack Special Hammer, doing 90 base damage. Then if you have a special energy attached to this, 90 more. So it gets up to 180 if that effect is met. He did run it with reversal energy, so if he's behind on prizes, that's going to count for 3 energy of any types while attached. So it's meeting that special energy requirement, and it's also paying for the full attack cost if you're behind on prizes. Even if you're not behind on prizes though, it is a special energy still, so attach a Psychic Energy with Xatu, attach that for turn, do 180, not bad. Do also have Luminous Energy counting as a special energy, and can use it on a Tinkaton to get that effect. So yeah, you got a few ways to get there. He did also pair it with Dusknoir and called it the Tinka Bomb deck, since you can use Curse Blast, knocking out your Dusknoir and putting 13 damage counters on one of your opponent's Pokemon. So you could effectively take a knockout without even declaring an attack, and then use Tinkaton's attack in the same turn to take out 2 targets in one go. Or maybe you just need that to soften up larger targets, like if they have Luxury Cape. Use Dusknoir, soften them up, then Tinkaton finishes them off. There's Dusclops in there just to have a stage 1, so you're not having a rare candy up to Dusknoir, you can be manually evolving it up, or if you decide, you can use Curse Blast on the Dusclops, just putting 5 damage counters instead of 13. Can be pretty useful. Other than that though, I feel like the list is pretty standard stuff. We're seeing Iono, we're seeing, oh no, research in here for draw power. You do have Cypher Maniac's Code Breaking as another draw supporter though, letting you search your deck for 2 cards and put them on the top of your deck. So when you've got Tinkaton, Kirlia, and Xatu, allowing you to draw into cards with abilities, Cypher Maniac's basically just saying, get 2 cards and put them into your hand after you discard something. Yeah, not bad. Definitely a solid card to be able to play with. He did include Daisy's Help in here as well, which is a card we haven't seen much play, and honestly I forgot got printed. You get to draw 2 cards, then look at your face down prize cards. So it's a great way to let you prize check and just see like, hey, these are the pieces that I'm missing. All right, go from there. Other than that though, I feel like it's kind of just standard staples with Pokemon Search, Boss's Orders, Arazu showing up in here, and Professor Turo, so that yeah, if you want to scoop something up, you're in a good way. Did forget to mention, he does run 1 copy of Gallade. Having Buddy Catch lets you just search your deck for a supporter card once a turn. So if you need a boss for game, just grab it. If you need a Turo to scoop something, just grab it. Yeah, not bad. Also having Swirling Slice, Psychic double colorless energy, and you do 160 damage. You do move in energy from this Pokemon to one of your bench Pokemon though. So if you're behind on prizes, you could use Reversal Energy on this to do 160 and take a KO. Then just bounce that energy onto a Tinkaton, so if Gallade gets knocked out, you still have that special energy in play on the Tinkaton to then just be able to do 180 the following turn with that. Yeah, not bad. And the Reversal Energy, the other thing I did forget to mention is having the Duskmorn to be able to go behind on prizes. It's a great way to get your Reversal Energy online. So yeah, if you want to soften something up with a Dusclops or a Duskmorn, go behind on prizes, get Tinkaton online, doing 180. Yeah, pretty solid play that you can pull off. In 3rd place, we are seeing Manuel, who piloted an Aggron list. So Aggron has Angry Slam, multiplier of 50 for every one of your damaged Pokemon in play. So if you have 6 Pokemon in play, if you have 6 Pokemon that are damaged, you can hit 300 for 1 Steel Energy. Does have Guard Claw as well, needing a Steel and double colorless, doing 120 damage, then making it so it takes 50 less damage from attacks on the following turn. When I paired into him while running Walrein, he was using the 2nd attack because he needed 3 energy to be able to attack, and hits for weakness, doubling that to 240 and making him take less damage on the following turn. Yeah, great card. And for every other matchup, Angry Slam gets the job done fine. For secondary attackers though, they are running Steelix, having Earthquake, 1 Steel Energy, 130 damage to the active, and doing 30 damage to each of your bench Pokemon. So a great way to get damage counters on your bench to make sure that Aggron is doing its full damage when you're attacking with Angry Slam. The other way you can get damage counters on your board is with Dodrio having Zooming Draw. You get to put 1 damage counter on this Pokemon, then draw a card. Gets damage counters in play for Aggron, gets you card advantage, so great combo, as well as Gengar showing up in here, which if this is in the discard pile, just pop it onto your bench, put 3 damage counters on it. It's pretty good. Nice thing about 3 damage counters, you could be using Damage Pump to move 2 of those off onto 2 different Pokemon to make sure that Aggron's getting the full benefit of its attack, because instead of just, hey, Gengar's damaged but nothing else is, it's like, well, now 3 things are damaged, Aggron's at least doing 150. And then you've got Monkey Dory, who has Adrena Brain. You put a Dark Energy on this, and all of a sudden you can move 3 damage counters off one of your damaged Pokemon and put them onto your opponent. So it helps you fix up numbers, it can theoretically help you heal your Pokemon, and maybe even take some cheeky knockouts, right? Like if there's something with 60 HP on your opponent's field, put 30, next turn, put another 30. You took a knockout without even declaring an attack, and then you still got your attack for turn to take another prize. So yeah, Monkey Dory, very good card. The rest of the list I feel like is pretty straightforward. For energies, we do have some Luminous Energy to trigger the Monkey Dory, while also counting for Steel Energy for your Pokemon's attacks. And it technically counts as a Psychic Energy for your Monkey Dory as well, so you could have this attached. It's counting as a Dark to trigger a Adrena Brain, while also counting as a Psychic, so you could use Mind Bend and confuse your opponent's active while doing 60. So it gives you a bit of versatility for the list. But yeah, if you have any questions, feel free to ask in the comments down below. In 2nd place though, we are seeing Sneaky Old Crab, also running Aggron. Effectively same deck, he just didn't have Gengar in this build. Yeah, I think Crabman was the one to kind of cook up this list. He's been bringing it to the tournaments every week for, I want to say 2 months now, or at least the tournaments he's been able to make. So yeah, he's got the list pretty well refined and always puts in work. So congrats on making it to the semifinals of the season, Crabman. Definitely well earned. And then in 1st place, taking home the championship, or declaring themselves the champion of the 1st season of the budget build battles, is Zen Pulse. And they absolutely cooked up a fire deck for tonight. So they got Chuyu. It's got the attack Flarebringer. You attach 2 basic fire energies from your discard pile to your Pokemon in play. I don't know that that was ever really being used. It's mostly in here for Mega Fire of Envy, which does 50 base damage. Then if any of your Pokemon were knocked out by damage from attacks on your opponent's last turn, 90 more. So effectively 140 damage for just 2 energy. Zen is in the chat right now, so it looks like he's popping up quite a bit of stuff for you guys to read. So yeah, if you want to give that a pause and read through what he's saying, I'm sure he's given some amazing notes for this list. But yeah, Chu-Yu being an absolute force. So when one of your Pokemon's knocked out, Chu-Yu is just, hey, I'm going to be doing big numbers into you. To pay for the 2 fire energy, he's got Magma Basin, which does put 2 damage counters on Chu-Yu, but also puts a fire energy from your discard pile onto it. As long as it's on the bench, then just manually attach another fire energy onto it to get going. Since you do want this on the bench, he was running Rescue Board just to give Pokemon with 1 retreat, 0 retreat, which is great. And the damage counters Chu-Yu's taking from Magma Basin, he's even running Monkey Dory in here to be able to hand those off into your opponents to help fix up some damage counters for you. Chu-Yu isn't the only attacker though, and isn't the only attacker that's triggered by Magma Basin, as he did pair it with Moltres, who has Inferno Wings doing 20 base damage, but if this has any damage counters on it, 70 more. So it hits for 90 for 1 energy. And yeah, pretty easy to get that set up when you have Magma Basin to get damage counters. He's even got Gapejaw Bog in here so that if you bench Moltres while this is in play, put damage counters on there, and I believe even some damage pumps in here to help out as well. So yeah, he's been cooking good, and even Dodrio showing up in this list. The other Pokemon worth mentioning in here is Rapidash, who has the ability Heat Boost. To use this ability, you have to discard a fire energy, which is fine, because then you just use Magma Basin and get that fire energy onto your bench. And when you do, you're going to be doing 30 more damage with attacks from your fire Pokemon. So suddenly Chu-Yu goes from doing 140 damage to 170. And he's got 2 Rapidash, so he can get that up to 200. And then with damage counters from Monkey Dory, theoretically getting it up to 230. That's scary. That's very scary. But yeah, the damage pumps also being great. So you can put extra damage onto Dodrio, scale up that damage faster, or if you've got awkward counts of damage counters on things like Chu-Yu taking 20 off the Magma Basin, maybe use damage pump, put that 20 onto something that already has 10, like Dodrio, and then Monkey Dory to hand off those 3 damage counters to fix up some numbers with Adrena Brain. So you got some options in there. The other guy that's in here is Iron Bundle, having Hyper Blower. When this is on your bench, you can choose to discard it and just bounce out your opponent's active Pokemon to the bench. So being like a gust effect, it's effectively repel on a Pokemon. You can search it out with Nest Ball, so if you're trying to get a smaller target, it's great to kind of get around things. So yeah, makes a lot of sense in this list. But yeah. Zen, you cooked, man. Absolutely cooked. And with the Aggrons running around, like hitting weakness into Aggron with Chu-Yu, definitely seem to put in a lot of work. Magma Basin also, you just always seem to have it. Absolutely cooked. Next level deck builder. So Zen, always keen to see kind of what you bring each week. It seems like every week that you came, I think you had a very different deck. And yeah, always impressed when people do that. It is one of those things of, yes, there can be meta decks. Yes, there can be like a top tier deck, but this format allows and encourages creativity with your deck building and trying to come up with those kind of like niche strategies. Standard format, yeah, you do kind of fall into that mindset of, well, this is the best deck, run this. But with the limitations to the card counts of being only 2 copies allowed of each card in your deck, it does make you have to kind of think outside the box. And being only single prize Pokemon, no Radiance, no A-Specs, you have to get very creative with what you use. So seeing stuff like this, like Rapidash, I don't think anyone's running that in Standard. In this format though, very good card. That's solid. It huffed, it puffed, it mucked stuff up. So yeah, Zen, congrats on that. And also, congrats on winning the champion playmat for the first season of Budget Build Battles. So, if I can get this out of here, show you guys on YouTube. So if you do want to participate in season 2, this is what you'd be winning if you made it through to the finals. We have a custom-made playmat for the format. The champion of each season will be taking one of these home. I'll move the microphone. I'll move this in front of the microphone. I'm sure you guys can see it. We can nudge that over. Yeah. Zen will be taking that home for winning the first season of Budget Build Battles. But yeah, season 2 kicks off tomorrow. So if you are keen, Can't wait to see you guys there. And then every Friday night going forward, there'll be the weekly events. We do have a best finish limit of 6 currently with 1 special event best finish limit. So if you miss a week or 2, it's not the end of the world. It's just your 6 best placements for the season that will count towards your placement for the season. Now I'm kind of just rambling though. If you enjoyed the video and you're keen to try out that format, make sure to hit that like button and let me know, and subscribe so you can keep up with the shenanigans. But again, there will be a link in the description if you want to try out the format and keen to see what kind of decks you guys are going to cook up and bring week after week. Till next time though, stay golden, you Goombas. All right guys, I'm tired. I gotta get to bed.